Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental, food and nutrition literacy.
Yeah, it affects us all, every day.
We've got this great review article that digs into what it actually means to be, truly informed and capable when it comes to food and eating well. We're going to break down the key stuff for you.
Exactly. If you've ever felt a bit overwhelmed by nutrition advice or just wanted to feel more confident making food choices, well, this is the place to be. Understanding this literacy concept is honestly pretty empowering.
So our mission today basically is to unpack this idea of food and nutrition literacy. What is it? Why does it matter so much? And what skills does it actually involve?
Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to getting a better handle on this vital part of well-being.
And our main source is a review called Gada ve Beslenme Okuryazarlığı, which is Turkish for food and nutritional literacy. It's from the Heron Journal of Agricultural and Food Sciences.
So have you ever felt, confused by conflicting advice or just wondered, am I making the best choice here?
I think most of us have.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then this deep dive is definitely for you.
Okay, let's dive in. What is food and nutrition literacy at its core?
Well, the review article pulls together a few ideas. It's really a mix of abilities. It starts with being able to find the information you need about food and nutrition.
Okay, finding it.
Then understanding it, analyzing it, really thinking critically about it, but it doesn't stop there.
Right, it's not just about thinking.
No, it's also about making good decisions based on that understanding and, crucially, actually implementing those decisions. Turning knowledge into action to eat healthily.
So choosing the right foods, the right amounts.
Exactly. And what's really interesting, the definition goes even broader. It includes the motivation, the knowledge, the skills, attitude, behaviors, all the capabilities needed to grasp the bigger food system.
The food system. You mean like where food comes from?
Yeah, and things like food security, making sure people have access to enough good food. It connects the individual to the wider context.
Ah, I see. So it's personal and societal. The article mentions this having benefits that ripple out, right? Affecting individuals, but also society, culture, politics, the environment.
Precisely. That wider impact is something researchers like Vigin and Gallegos and Villardo really emphasized around 2014, 2015. It's not just about your plate.
Okay, that makes sense. So if we break it down more, what kind of knowledge are we talking about? The review mentions three main areas.
Yeah, drawing on Bilatti's work from 2010. First, there's the obvious one, understanding food, nutrition, and health links.
Got it.
Second, knowledge about agriculture, the environment, ecology. So, like you said, where food comes from, its journey, its impact.
Okay.
And third, an awareness of social development and equality aspects. Think food deserts, fair trade, access issues. It's all connected.
Wow, okay. That's quite broad. It really shows how, say, farming methods link to nutrient quality, which links to health.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there are different ways to slice up the components. Cimbaro, back in 2008, talked about nutrition language.
Like understanding terms like carbs or antioxidants.
Yeah, exactly. And then nutrition practices, what you actually do with food. And nutrition ecology, understanding that link between your choices and the environment.
Okay.
And another view from Block and others in 2005 looked at it as having the core knowledge, sure, but also the ability to use it procedural knowledge, plus the opportunity, and importantly, the motivation.
Right. Motivation keeps coming up.
It's huge. And the article stresses these parts don't exist in isolation. They're always interacting, influenced by culture, politics, history. It's dynamic.
So it's complex. And the review mentions there isn't one single definition everyone agrees on.
That's right. You see both nutrition literacy and food literacy used in the research. Sometimes they mean slightly different things, but often they overlap significantly.
So how are we handling that today?
We're following the article's lead and basically treating them as closely related concepts, part of the same overall idea.
Okay. And the definition the article lands on sort of brings it all together.
Yeah, it emphasizes that it's not just knowledge. You need the desire, the skills, the right attitude, the behaviors, the abilities. It really hits home that information alone isn't enough.
That point was made by others too, right? Contento, Villardo.
Absolutely. And that links back to Block's point about motivation being essential. You can know it's healthy, but if you're not motivated to act on it,
It doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's shift gears a bit. Why is this so important? Why should we care about boosting food and nutrition literacy?
Well, the article makes a very direct link to health. Specifically, preventing and managing major diet-related health problems.
We're talking serious stuff here.
Yeah, things like cardiovascular diseases, some cancers, chronic respiratory diseases, diabetes. These are huge global health issues.
And the review points out that poor nutrition is a big driver for these, especially in lower-income countries.
Exactly. It cites research highlighting this link and how these diseases are major causes of death worldwide.
But the good news is unhealthy eating is a preventable risk factor, right?
That's the key point. It's something we can potentially influence.
And that's where food and nutrition literacy comes in as a solution.
Precisely. The article really emphasizes how nutrition education and efforts to improve this literacy are crucial tools. They help people make healthier choices, improve well-being.
Giving people the power to take control, essentially.
Yeah. And its importance is only growing. We're more aware now of the diet-health link, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Plus, the food environment is more complex.
Right. So many products, more eating out. Kieser and Sherdak pointed this out in 2015. It just makes being literate even more critical.
Just think about all the decisions we make about food every single day.
Oh, yeah. Health, nutrition, cost, taste, convenience, freshness, habits, culture, quality. The list goes on.
You really need that literacy to navigate all of that effectively.
Absolutely. It's the foundation for making informed choices.
And the article notes that while there's growing international research, maybe there's less focus specifically in the Turkish context.
Yeah, that was part of the motivation for this review, to bring together the existing knowledge, perhaps stimulate more research there. It shows it's still an evolving field.
Okay, so let's get practical. What does this literacy look like in action? What skills are involved?
Skills are definitely key. The article highlights the ability to identify the right info, understand it, interpret it, synthesize different pieces.
Synthesize, like putting different bits of information together.
Exactly. And also communicate about it and even handle the numbers involved using different written materials.
The basic reading and understanding is the starting point, based on one of the sources cited.
Yes, general literacy is foundational, but food and nutrition literacy goes way beyond just reading the words on a page.
How so?
Well, you need the skills to really analyze complex info, judge if it's reliable, and crucially translate that understanding into actual healthy habits.
That knowledge to action step again. Fordyce Forum, Fidgen and Gallegos, Pendergast and Dewhurst all highlighted that.
Yeah, and it's not just about interpreting text. It includes really practical, hands-on skills, too.
Like what?
Like knowing what to look for when you're buying food, reading labels, checking ingredients, maybe even growing some of your own food.
Okay.
And then the everyday stuff. Selecting healthy options, preparing meals, cooking methods that preserve nutrients, serving sensible portions. Ben discussed these in 2014.
And you mentioned numbers earlier. Math skills play a role.
They really do. Understanding daily requirements, portion sizes, deciphering food labels that often involve some basic numeracy.
I can see that. The review mentioned several researchers who looked into that link. Rothman, Misra, Huizinga, Spears.
Yeah, being comfortable with numbers helps make sense of a lot of nutrition guidance.
So if someone is food and nutrition literate, what can they do? What are the signs?
Well, according to the article, they can connect their own eating habits to bigger picture stuff, culture, politics, history. They understand the jargon, nutrients, food groups, diet-related diseases.
They can read labels and understand things like the food pyramid or MyPlate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They grasp how the whole food system impacts health and society. And very importantly, they can see through marketing messages. They can critically evaluate commercial claims about food.
That's a big one in today's world.
Definitely.
Okay, the review summarizes the main aims of food and nutrition literacy, pulling from lots of sources. What are some of those key goals?
Well, obviously, one aim is just to increase literacy levels overall, but also critically to foster and maintain that motivation for healthy eating.
Motivation again.
Always. It's also about enabling people to access and use good information effectively, helping them make those healthy choices and actually consume healthy foods.
So it's about enabling healthy behaviors, not just knowledge.
Right. And developing practical food prep skills, figuring out personal nutritional needs accurately, becoming more aware of broader food and nutrition problems.
It also mentions evaluating the food system itself.
Yes, and understanding the traditional, cultural, ecological sides of nutrition. Being able to critically analyze media messages, use label info effectively, improve nutrition education, interpret guides, critique publications, it's a really broad set of aspirations.
That's comprehensive. And then the article dives into a specific framework from Vigin and Gallegos, right, with categories and indicators.
Yeah, that's a really useful breakdown. They propose 4 main categories.
Okay, what's the first one?
Planning and management. This is about organizing your time and money to support healthy eating.
So budgeting time for cooking, planning meals.
Exactly. And being able to access food through different means, adapting if your situation changes, maybe a store closes, or your dietary needs shift.
And making decisions that balance nutrition, taste, satiety, and your available resources, time, money, skills, kitchen tools, finding that sweet spot.
Precisely. That's planning and management.
Okay, category 2.
Selection. This is about knowing how to get food supermarkets, markets, growing it, and understanding the pros and cons of each source.
And understanding the food product itself.
Yeah, its content, origin, storage needs, how to consume it, and importantly, feeling empowered to question food quality, not just accepting whatever is offered.
Makes sense. Third category.
Preparation. This is the hands-on stuff. Being able to make a healthy meal with what you have.
Using common ingredients, basic kitchen tools.
Right. And being able to adapt recipes, apply basic principles of cooking, storage, and crucially, food safety.
Okay, practical cooking skills. And the last category.
Eating. This is broader than just putting food in your mouth. It's understanding the impact of food on your well-being.
Like knowing if you're getting enough nutrients, balanced intake.
Yeah, self-awareness about that. Knowing about food content, appropriate portion sizes, how often to eat certain things, what to limit for good health.
And it also touches on the social side of eating.
Yes, recognizing that eating is often social and being comfortable participating in those shared food experiences.
Right. Meals are often about connection, too. Okay, that framework seems really helpful in breaking it down.
It does. It covers a lot of ground.
So if we put it all together, what's the main takeaway here?
I think the core message is that food and nutrition literacy is really about empowerment. It gives you the knowledge, yes, but also the attitude and the skills to make informed decisions and adopt healthy behaviors.
Across the board, food choices, eating habits, even thinking about food security and safety.
Exactly. It's a powerful combination.
So today, we've really dug into this concept, looked at how it's defined, why it's so important, and the huge range of skills and awareness it covers.
We have. It's quite a journey from just reading a label to understanding the whole system.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Given how multifaceted this is, it's about knowledge, action, values. What's one small thing you could maybe do today or this week to enhance your own food literacy?
Yeah, just one small step. It doesn't have to be huge.
It could be anything, really. Maybe, like you said earlier, actually reading the full nutrition label on something next time you shop.
Or trying one new healthy recipe.
Yeah.
Getting hands-on.
Or even just taking a moment before you eat to think about, where'd this food come from? What's the story behind this meal? Culturally, maybe.
Little things like that. They all add up and deepen that understanding and connection.
Absolute. Food for thought, you could say.